Hey, it's Jeff. Welcome back. Today we're gonna talk about pretty much how I learned patterns, and I'm gonna show you two puzzles, and you can also like pause the video and try to solve them. I'll let you know. This is the first position if you do want to pause it and solve it, and the second one is this one. Um, One thing I'll say is this one's rated 1500 and this one is rated 3100. And this one that actually I was looking through Ray Robson's failed puzzles on Puzzle Rush, and this was one of them. And I saw these both. Well, I didn't solve this one, but I saw these two puzzles in the same day, and I did see some similarities, but they don't look as similar on the surface. Like if you look at the Arabian Mates, they all looked pretty much similar. They all pretty much just looked like this picture. But these two puzzles, I feel like they also have a similar pattern to each other, but is not immediately obvious. And I think it's a big part of when stronger players learn like chess really deeply, they start to see positions that don't really look the same, but have similar underlying patterns in them. So without wasting too much time, we will get started. Also, for these two puzzles, they're going like here on this other tab for now. Okay, so pause the video and see if you can solve this one. Okay, gave you some time. So the first thing that should jump out is this Queen C6 move. Nothing else is really like too forcing, I don't think. And they're threatening to take the queen anyway, so I think a lot of people will be able to find this move at least. And now at this point, you probably have a fork in the road. You can pause the video if you want to try to figure out what are the two main candidate moves. And so Queen E6 or Rook B7, like what jumps out. And if you look at the comments for this puzzle, someone also pointed that out. This is also what I struggled with. I think I probably picked the wrong move. That's why I ended up saving this one. But they're two moves. They're both like right, and you have to play them in the correct order. But the question is like, how do you figure out what the correct order is quickly? Like this is just calculation, but also are there any patterns that you could use to solve this quickly? Because if my goal is to become like really good at Puzzle Rush, I need to be able to distinguish between these two moves quickly, even without calculating all the time. Like, how do you take an intuitive guess and know which one is the right one? And so it turns out that what I suspect so far, based on this and the next puzzle, is that you notice the king and the bishop. You want to try to separate the king and the bishop. So if you just do like this rook check, they'll block with the bishop. Then if you give this queen check, they have an escape square like that. Then it's hard to make progress. Like you can't give any checks there because they have like a rook like that. But if you give this queen check first, notice all those squares that the queen guards. They have to go here, and then when you go here, they don't have a lot of squares and they're forced to give up the bishop. So queen e6 actually forces the king and the bishop to separate, whereas rook b7 lets the king hide and stay connected to the bishop, which is good defensive method for them. So we'll just play this. You see like this separation from the bishop and the king, and then it's off. Okay, so now let's take a look at this one, which is a really, really difficult puzzle in general. That's why it's rated like almost 3200 now. And they're attacking this rook. Also, pause this video and try to solve it. I forgot to mention that. Well, I kind of mentioned in the beginning. You have many chances by now. Let's see. So they are threatening this. I feel like I never really counted to see if we're down material, but they do have this pass pawn that's also kind of dangerous. But what you want to do is you want to target like this g2 pawn. So you have to find like the best square for the bishop. And I think one of the candidate moves I was considering was just taking this, but after some calculation, it'll end up like not working out. It turns out bishop h5 is the best move, and the reason that is better than like let's say bringing the bishop all the way back here is that I think you just keep an eye on this diagonal when things open up later. because you can imagine here, and then you have like this threat at some point with the bishop on h5. That helps out a lot, creating that queen bishop battery. So let's just go here, and so they take. Some people also might try to retake. I haven't really delved deeply into the calculation to see exactly why things are wrong, but typically that would mean you're really just trying to checkmate the king or something, or just win even more material than what can be done with this, because maybe it's hard to stop this pawn, or I don't know. But you end up giving this check, and at this point, you're in a situation that's similar to the last puzzle, which is why I'm making this video, and I'm grouping these puzzles together. Is that you have two moves that look kind of similar. You can either take this pawn, or you can give this check. And usually Chess.com, well, always it should be like one correct move, and then the other one is just going to be clearly wrong for some reason. And so, so you might be tempted, okay, let's just take this pawn, we threaten checkmate, and you might not see like what's wrong with it. Or also you see this, and then it also looks like you're doing stuff, but the problem with taking this pawn right here is that they bring the knight here, and now you're not giving this checkmate. And notice the king and the bishop, they're still like connected, like that defensive piece where the king is just hiding around the bishop. But if you look at queen h1, actually let me just get this wrong so I can go to the analysis board. If you go here and they try to stay around the bishop, then you have this check. And now, like, if they move out the way, you can take the bishop. If they go here, you're just checkmating. And if they go here, just checkmating because the rook is guarding all these squares. So it looks like queen f3 keeps them, the king and the bishop connected. And it's harder to break through. But this seems to separate the king and the bishop. So, so we know that's not really going to work. So in the solution, they actually make this move. And now the difference when you take this pawn is you're attacking the bishop and it's unprotected. So separating the king and the bishop paid off, because now if they were to try to make like the same defensive move, they would just lose the bishop. So hopefully now you see why these puzzles are like so similar. So if I go back to the beginning, make the first obvious move, I need to start this one over. Make the first couple moves. So this decision, whether you give this check or this check, in this one, where do you take this pawn or give this check? They're both kind of similar in that one of them will ensure that you separate the king and the bishop. So this one, and then here you want to separate these two, and this one is like the best way to do that. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show you. There's like more calculations if you look with the computer on this puzzle, like what's happening after, actually I'm trying to get this wrong so I can bring up the board again. Like when they try to extend, so they might try to just defend the pawn, and then you're just giving this check, and then you're taking. At least you're attacking the queen. If they move this back, it's like, it's kind of weird trying to calculate like exactly where the win is. Or like even if you just go to the beginning and see like what's wrong with taking this. Okay, they just go, wait, not there. But this apparently, I'm guessing there's just up material. Yeah, we don't have a rook, so yeah, we're just down more material. But you win the bishop and some other stuff, and it's better. But yeah, overall, the main thing is just understanding when you're in this situation where you got two similar moves, you're not exactly sure which one to play. Look for the one that tries to separate like these two. And I only have two of these like examples so far, so I don't know if this will always be a thing that could be useful, but like in a new situation, you can imagine if I find myself with two similar moves and the king and the bishop is connected, really try to figure out which one would separate the king and the bishop might help figure out which move to play like more quickly. So that's pretty much the lesson I want to show today. I'll be close to making a video for the 300 level puzzles, like doing 500 of those, and then bringing some more patterns, kind of like the Arabian Mate, but some other checkmates where I have to go through like 20 or so. So that stuff will also be coming as well. So hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one.